opening night of the NBA season is close. It's Tuesday, October 18th. Do you think the Golden State Warriors can repeat? To celebrate the start of the season, we are offering you a 7-day NBA package for only $49. Yes, that's only $7 a day, and it will be valid through Sunday, October 23rd at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo. There is no limit to the number of handicappers that you can get. Just head to your favorite capper's homepage.
Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Presman. That man right over there is Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. And while I did brag about my 4-0 Monday presidential address, I got to take it on the chin on my 0-2 Tuesday one. We'll bounce back. What's going on this show, Teddy?
Well, we're going to open up with Carmine Bianco. He's going to talk some NHL for tonight, the Kraken and the Blues. We're also going to talk Thursday night NFL. He's got a kicking prop we're going to look at as the Saints battle the Cardinals. Then we're going to bring in Steve Merril. He's going to talk a little college football, Texas and Oklahoma State, as well as an NBA future on the Memphis Grizzlies. And, of course, Arthur DiCesare closing out the show from the Westgate Superbook. He's going to give us a good idea of where the money is flowing this week, who the pros like, who the Joes like. And obviously a busy time of year. I'm looking forward to picking Art DiCesare's brain in my big game breakdown. I'll do a little NBA on ESPN for tonight. We'll talk about the Mavs and the Suns, a Western Conference Finals rematch, or semifinals rematch from last year. That'll be a lot of fun tonight. We'll do that in big game breakdown. But before we do that, let's bring in our first guest.
Carmine Bianco, my brother. We got to hang out a little bit. In Las Vegas. That was a pleasure. You had no voice when you got back, and I've been sick as a dog since I got back. I was supposed to do puck time today, but I missed it. Just couldn't do 3 shows in a row. How are you, dude? You doing good?
Yeah, no, we miss you, but it was a great show today nonetheless. So I'm doing great. I got my voice back, which is even better, and I'm looking forward to talking about a couple games.
Well, let's start right off the bat. St. Louis only playing their second game this season. They're playing in Seattle, who are 1-2 on the year. You like the total in this game. It's 6.5. Are you going over or under?
Yeah, well, it opened at 6.5, and I bet at 6.5. It's down to 6, where it actually should have been. I thought, and I'd still play for me at 6. Lawrence taking the under here. St. Louis only played 1 game, so there's not a lot of data on them. But the one impressive piece of data is in that 5-2 win over Columbus, their expected goals allowed was 1.13, which is an outstanding number for them. And this is a Seattle team. We're going to get the 2 best goalies in there, Binnington and Grubauer, in tonight. Seattle team that's been lit up a bit thus far, but they're better than those score lines go. They'll probably be a little bit better defensively and offensively. Some talent on that team. It's young talent. They're not going to be able to break down this Blues team. I think under 6 is the play here. All 3 games went under the total last year.
Let's shift our focus to Thursday night NFL. We have the Cardinals and the Saints battling in Arizona, 2 teams that have struggled of late. We're looking at a kicking prop in this ballgame. I always like the kicking props. Number one, they're the least sexy bets out there. The only guys looking at them are the guys we want to be paying attention to. And in this instance, we're going to look at Will Lutz, the Saints kicker. Look at his game log this season. Lutz has been a guy who has gotten a fair few opportunities, 14 and 7 points the last 2 weeks. But prior to that, 7 or less in every ball game. What are we going to do with Lutz as he travels to Arizona on a short week? Do we expect lots of points from the Saints kicker or not so many?
Yeah, it's a game that's lined right now at 44.5 because everyone is betting the prime time under. So from 46, it went down to 44.5. But I like the kicker props. It's been a good year for me in props, 15-8 over 60% thus far. And this one's at 6.5 with minimal juice. I think it's minus 115 right now. He had a bad start to the year. He missed 3 of 6. All of them within 50 yards. Since then, he's gone 6 of 7, with his only miss being in London against the Vikings where he tried a 61-yard field goal. He's gone over, as you mentioned, the last two. That's kind of in correlation with the fact that the Saints are now moving the ball and putting themselves in scoring position. So he's picking up those extra points. He's picking up those field goal attempts. He had 4 in the last game. And I think he goes over this number again. If nothing else, Thursday Night Football has been better known as Amazon dud night because the games have been horrible, and we've just seen a ton of field goals. So maybe we see a few here, but I say he gets over this number of 6.5.
Now, real quick, Carm, does it matter who plays quarterback for New Orleans? Because we don't know yet if it's going to be Winston, if it's going to be Dalton, if both guys are going to be healthy enough, if neither guy is going to be healthy enough to go this week. So are you worried at all about the quarterback situation for New Orleans, which is very much in flux here, 36 hours before kickoff?
Well, if Zona doesn't wake up, and I get it that they're getting Hopkins back, and they picked up a wide receiver via trade, but if they can't move the ball, it becomes one of those field possession games that it just kind of goes back and forth. It literally turns into one of those field goal games, I have to believe. So I don't blame the bettors for taking the under in this game and pushing it 1.5 off the original opener of 46 about a week ago. But I'm not really concerned as far as quarterbacks go, Teddy.
Carmine Bianco, everyone. Carm, you got a promotion going for everybody. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, you can use Carm 30, and you'll get 30 off a 7-day all-access package. 3 Premier League games going today at 2:30, 2 NHL. My first 2 NHL 4% plays of the season are going tonight, and then I have a 5% play up for the NFL on Sunday. So that you'll obviously get those and all the other plays that are released throughout that 7 days for only $69 when you use that code CARM30.
Awesome. Carmine Bianco, everyone. Make sure to use that code CARM30. Carm, have you watched Welcome to Wrexham?
I have not, but they advanced to the 4th round of the FA Cup, if that matters, but I have not watched it. So,
yeah, they're my team now. I'm following them. I was reading the news last night. It's an unbelievable show and so gripping, and I didn't Google to find out if they got promoted or not. Don't say if they did, because lots of people are going to watch it. What a fun show, and it teaches you a ton about how English soccer works. Guys, that's it. Carm, get out of here, brother. Teddy, my friend,
Later,
what
boys.
did we learn last night in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Well, look, some sports are sprints, all right? College football, it's halfway over already, more than halfway over for some teams. You know, that sport is a sprint. You got to take advantage of things quickly. If you miss it, it's gone. The NBA isn't that. It's an 82-game regular season. There's 4 rounds of playoffs after the regular season. Teams are going to ebb and flow multiple times throughout the course of the campaign. What you think about a team here in October is not what you're going to be thinking in January. It's not what you're going to be thinking in April. So what I learned last night, and again, this isn't something I learned last night, something I've learned over the years, but you got to be flexible with your opinions. Expect your bet on and bet against teams to change multiple times throughout the course of the campaign. Coming into the season, I've got about 10 teams that I've identified as bet on or bet against opinions to open the season. Everyone else is neutral, and I'm probably going to be wrong about a handful of those opinions. But hopefully we'll be more right than wrong. Those are the teams we're going to try to make money with betting on or against early on in the campaign. And perhaps most importantly, don't try to bite off more than you can chew. Okay, if football's taking your capping time, or hockey, or baseball, or whatever, NBA is very much like baseball in one respect. It's a sport that you can legitimately pick up 5 or 10 or 20 games in and not lose too much by doing so. So, don't try to bite off more than you can chew. So last night, what did we see? Favorite and over in the 2 games on opening night. We see more of the same tonight? I don't know. It's my wife's birthday, so I will not be overreacting to the opening night of the NBA season, because tonight's one night I can't watch, and that might well be a good thing, Prez. You don't want to overreact to what you see on opening night. Sometimes you take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. How about you? You learn anything last night?
Nope. I watched Welcome to Wrexham. I binged watched 18 episodes in 3 days. I couldn't stop. I had the baseball game on in the background, and also I did win my hockey play. I had over 6 in the Ottawa Senators Boston Bruins game. It was 3-3, like 5 minutes into the second period. So again, I just tuned out, watched Welcome to Wrexham. Plus, I'm sick as a dog, Teddy. I can't seem to shake this cold, but it'll happen.
I think you gave it to me too when you were here in town, so I appreciate it. Thanks.
I was not sick at all in town, but go ahead. Just like I gave you COVID, just like I forgot to remind you to put plays at the Westgate, just like I gave you cold in Vegas. You know, Teddy, your old age, my fault.
No, but you're an easy guy to blame for things.
That's
mostly
true.
it's your fault.
Happy birthday to Kara, who is substantially your better half. We'll take a quick break, everyone. Steve Merril joining us. Art DiCesare, so much more. Stay with us.
Opening night of the NBA season is close. It's Tuesday, October 18th. Do you think the Golden State Warriors can repeat? To celebrate the start of the season, we are offering you a 7-day NBA package for only $49. Yes, that's only $7 a day, and it will be valid through Sunday, October 23rd at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo. There is no limit to the number of handicappers that you can get. Just head to your favorite capper's homepage.
Welcome back, everybody. One of my favorite guests and a semi-co-host on this show, Steve Merril, joining us, everyone. Steve, thanks for sitting in for me last week, bro.
Yeah, man. It's like Giant Steve here. The new format is confusing me, and you need me long-winded, medium-winded, or short-winded? I need to know how winded I need to be today.
You could be long-winded. Steve, why don't we start right off the bat by so you're coming on the show to upset Teddy and I, right? Is that the plan?
No, what's funny about it, Prez, is that I wasn't going to even mention it because I'm so conscious of everyone else's feelings that I didn't even want to mention that the WagerTalk.com entry tied for second in the first 6 weeks overall. And I actually wasn't going to even bring it up because I did feel bad what happened with you guys because you're having a nice season. And then I started thinking about it. It's kind of ridiculous not to mention it because, first of all, I'm on. You're on the team with me. And then Arthur's coming on from the Westgate right after this. And then on top of that, it's great promotion for the website, right? I mean, let people know WagerTalk.com is 24-6, and let's all benefit from it. And let's hope some people maybe over at the Westgate on Sunday mornings when they're seeing the standings, they go to the website and they buy, some picks from Teddy, myself, Prez, everybody else, Carmine. So the more I thought about it, it's like it's kind of silly not to mention it, just because
Absolutely.
I feel bad, what happened with you guys.
No, listen, Teddy and I have to move past the mistake. There's nothing we can do about it. We would not have been there. So it is what it is. We needed 24 wins to get to that money. We would not have had 24 wins because one of my plays would have lost. So, and we were at 19. So it is what it is. Just to let everybody know, the WagerTalk.com entry is Steve Merril, myself, Kelly Stewart, Marco D'Angelo, and Jay Money. All of us do give our a pick in each. And Steve, the funniest part about the whole thing is it's like a race to the pick. It's like, if I like the Giants and you like the Giants and Marco likes the Giants, it's whoever gets the Giants in first, and then the other person is screwed.
Well, Prez, it's interesting because I've actually I didn't know there was a 6-week contest, by the way, and we were 21-4 last week. I remember I said to you, I go, we are not going to win either of the 3-week contests, and we're 21-4, which is pretty ridiculous. And I got an email yesterday afternoon, guys. I did not even know there was a 6-week, and they're like, you have a check for $17,000. How would you like it? I was like, okay. And then, of course, the Shady 5 entry with Joe Ranieri, myself, and the Sports Grid guys won the first 3 weeks. So I'm probably on the Westgate radar now. They're like, who is this Steve Merril guy winning with these different entries? But my point is what I wanted to say real quick, because what you just brought up is a concern of mine. We're having a little bit of problem with the Shady 5 because we were throwing picks in, and we had a conflict in week 2. Gabe Morency liked Seattle. I really liked San Francisco. And I didn't cross it out. I went to my third pick because Cam Stewart and I had the same first pick, which won. We ended up going 14-1, guys. Had I canceled out Gabe's, we would have been 15-0, would have won the whole thing. So big picture, you do have to have kind of a system in place. And I was thinking about that, Prez, because it's worked really well what we're doing so far. We've had no conflicts after 6 weeks.
No, you're right.
What happens when someone throws out a game and we disagree? We kind of need a process in place. It's something I've been thinking about because obviously
Steve,
at
whatever you
24-6,
want,
we're in a
bro.
position to win this whole thing.
Whatever you want. Let's get to some actionable info. Texas, Oklahoma State.
Fantastic.
Texas is -6. What's so funny?
You're just in a rush to get off the topic. You know, it's an
Teddy
interesting
gets my
topic.
point. I mean, I was talking
thinking
some
about it.
big
You're like, all right,
picture
forget it.
contest.
Just got to go to the next game.
Yeah. You know why? Okay, you know what? We'll examine that at the end of the segment. I'm in a rush to get off the topic because I don't think the listeners want to hear us discuss how we're going to deal with a conflict.
No,
The bottom
reason I brought
line
it up
is if there's a conflict, neither team gets picked. Not the hardest thing to figure out.
I actually thought the listeners might enjoy seeing some inside baseball big picture contest strategy stuff. Otherwise, I could care less about discussing it here. That's the only reason I brought it up, but we'll move on.
Yeah, Texas -6, Oklahoma State. How we betting this game?
I mean, the first thing I do every week, with college and pro football, especially college, though, because, they're younger kids, there's more games, and I think the emotions swing more is I circle spots in which, potential flat spots might exist. And I know Marco does the same thing. That's why it's great having Marco on every Monday because he kind of looks at that type of angle as well. And TCU last week, by the way, free college football plays at WagerTalk.com went 9-1 last Saturday. Be sure you're checking out the free plays at WagerTalk.com. We're talking about best bets, contest entries, but the free plays are fantastic, and it's a great way to build your bankroll before you make that plunge to a direct subscription. And the reason I bring up they were 9-1 is because I know where the one loss was. I had TCU -4 as my free play. And had it been the NFL, they would have kicked the overtime after winning in double. They would have kicked the extra point in double overtime and won by 4. So it would have been a push. They ended up winning by 3. But the first thing I thought was, who is Oklahoma State playing next week? What a terrible loss. It was a top 25 high-profile matchup. And lo and behold, it's a pretty good spot to fade them. Texas lost last year as a 3-point home favorite in this game. Texas is the better team on both sides of the ball. And even though Texas has 2 losses, they're still playing hard. And the narrow win last week against Iowa State, I'll give them a semi-pass for that because they're coming off that blowout 49-0 against arch-rival Oklahoma. So I feel like last week was a bit of a flat spot between the 2 Oklahoma teams. Iowa State also a very capable, dangerous team this year. Just looks like a good spot to fade Oklahoma State, and I think it's a good team to do it with Texas on the road.
So when you look at this series history, Steve, it's one tight game after the next. In fact, the last time Texas won this game by more than one score was 2014. So it's been one-score games, competitive games, year in, year out. And if there's one thing that sometimes can mitigate a bad spot in college football, it's having the home crowd at your back. Does the series history or the fact that Okie State gets the home crowd this week, do either of those mitigate your support for the Longhorns here? Or do you just think the spot's just, Okie State's just out of gas? They blew a 2-touchdown lead late last week and lost in double overtime. This is a team to fade. And that's the narrative we're going to go with for this contest.
Yeah, I agree with you, Teddy. I do think the letdowns are less likely at home. I think that's an excellent point. And had this been a back-to-back road game, it probably would have been even tougher, but it would have been a double-digit spread as well. So here we're getting Texas to win by less than a touchdown. And the line did seem a little high to me until I started digging into it more. And if you look at the numbers this year, Texas has played a tougher schedule. They average 6.7 yards per play, Oklahoma State 5.9. Texas allows 4.8, Oklahoma State 5.5. Once again, that's against a tougher schedule. They're 1.9 net yards better. Oklahoma State is 0.4 against a weaker schedule. So Texas is a substantially better team on both sides of the ball. And despite 2 losses early on, as I mentioned, they've won 3 straight. They're still playing hard, and they'll have this game circled. So I think there actually is still some line value.
Teddy?
Just a quick second follow there, because you talked about the strength of schedule for Texas being so much better. Isn't that just the one game? Isn't that they played Alabama, therefore their strength of schedule is going to be monstrous compared to anybody else? But
yeah,
if you take that one game out, Okie State might well have played the tougher schedule so far.
Well, I mean, the strength of schedule still for Texas is stronger. You're exactly right. I mean, the Alabama power ratings shoot that, quadruple over the other teams. But when I'm looking at the overall statistical numbers like I just gave out, it is important because those numbers came against all the teams that they played, and their schedule theoretically was still stronger overall. And they did play very well against Alabama, which was an impressive game.
Steve Merril, awesome stuff, dude. Let's move our attention to the NBA. Started yesterday. Big slate today. You want to talk a futures bet on the Memphis Grizzlies. What do you got?
Yeah, I'll keep this one short-winded, and it's very simple. When playing futures, I always like to look unders. Teddy and I have talked about this before because everything is kind of priced to what should happen, right? So in injuries, usually there's more downside risk with futures, whether it's the NFL, football, baseball. And I also like to look at teams that had really good seasons, maybe that overachieved. A couple of NFL ones I gave out on the show earlier this year, if we call the Rams, right? And it was hard to imagine they would win less than 10 games, but I think we can all see it now. The Titans were the other one I believe I mentioned here on the show as well. A team that's done well in recent years I thought would regress. Baseball this year, the free play I gave out in baseball was the Nationals. My Washington Nationals, a team that had won a couple years ago, won the World Series, got a lot weaker. I'm not saying the Grizzlies are going to be weaker this year. Well, they're going to be weaker. I'm not saying they're going to be a non-playoff team. But kind of everything worked for him. And as you know, Teddy, they had the best point spread record in the league last year. They were actually better without Ja Morant, which makes me question how great he maybe really is. He's probably healthier this year. That might actually hurt the lineup. And this is still only like 4 wins less than they won last year. So I think there's some downside to the Memphis Grizzlies. And then on top of that, the Western Conference is loaded. I think a team like the Timberwolves over 48 is worth a look. So that means those wins are going to be taken away from Memphis. And I think the Grizzlies under has some value.
So I certainly wouldn't argue with that conceptually. A team like Memphis that did overachieve last year, and they did, and from a point spread standpoint, they were the story for an extended portion of the season. You expect those teams to come back to earth. And certainly when we talk about offseason losses and early season injuries, there are some concerns on the Memphis side as well. But what we're seeing with these win totals, there's half the league is totaled between 46.5 and 53.5 within 7 games of each other, where there's not much difference between, in terms of the numbers, between one team and another. And Memphis is a team that seems to be very interested in success in the regular season. They care about the regular season more than your Golden States of the world or whoever. Does that concern you for this bet at all? Or is this a team that overachieved last year? They're just not going to be as good. The West is tough. They're a 45, 47 win team, not a 50 win.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, like I said, I can always make two sides to every case just like you can. I mean, that's why your follow-ups are great. And I do have that concern that Memphis is one of those, I talk about this with my teams. You'd be a practice All-American, and then we get to game time, and these kids that look great in practice all of a sudden freeze up in the spotlight. I feel like the Grizzlies could be that team where they're regular season All-Americans, and then in the postseason they kind of flop. If that's the case, we play this for 1 unit, and the next year we come back with 2 units on the under, because after this year, if they do it again, there'll be some real value next season with that season win. But that is the concern, that I don't see them going far in the playoffs, let's put it that way, but I could see them overachieving in the regular season again.
Steve Merril, like always, you come on with a promotion. What is it today, brother?
Yeah, we got a really good offer right now because we have 4 sports going. Obviously, college and pro football. We have about a month left of baseball, which, by the way, is up 20 net units the last few months. Won again last night with the under in that Darvish game, 2-0. And also, NBA starts tonight for us. And you get 4 sports right now for a full month for $199. That's a $100 discount. Normally, it's $299. It's a full 30 days, all access, all sports for $199. But you have to have promo code Steve30. Steve30. Use that in the drop down. Select the $299. Put in Steve30. It comes $199. 30 days, all sports. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com.
Awesome stuff. Steve Merril, everybody. Teddy, this is when we got to do the commercial break moving forward, right here.
Yeah.
But alas, it's already been done. So it's time for your big game breakdown.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. I am in play on the total for this game with my clients. Frankly, I think the side may be every bit as good. Let's talk about Dallas and Phoenix tonight. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing the Suns 4.5-point home favorites. Total has been bet up to 218. And look, let me start with this. We don't want to confuse the off-the-court stuff with the on-the-court stuff. What happened in Phoenix over the course of the last couple of months in terms of the off-court distractions certainly rocked the culture of the squad. Robert Sarver is going to walk away a billionaire. The organization left behind, the culture might already have changed. That's for the TV talking heads. We care about the players and the coach and how they're focused for tonight, not the broader mainstream media issues, which have limited effect on this ball game. All that being said, it has not been a great offseason for Phoenix. And last time I saw these two teams, and we all saw them, they played a 7-game series. The Suns won the first 2 games of the series. They shot lights out. And Dallas figured them out defensively. They wiped the Suns off their home floor in a Game 7 blowout. They wiped them on the Mavs home floor in a Game 6 blowout. Luka was running circles around Chris Paul. So what's changed? Nothing is what's changed. The Mavs have figured out the Suns offensively. I don't expect that to be any different. Jason Kidd, nothing but defensive emphasis all preseason. And, of course, games 3-7. Phoenix, 94, 101, 110 in the one win that they had, 86 and 90. Dallas may be the better of these two teams this year. They're catching points on opening night. I don't think Phoenix matches up well with them, and I'm not expecting this to be a wonderful evening for the Suns in the Valley of the Sun. Take Dallas plus the points and check out my page over at WagerTalk.com. My opinion on the total in this one, although my hunches, you already know which way I'm leaning. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers. One of our listeners writes, TT, Prez is a little rude. He should not be hosting any shows. So firstly, I'm probably a lot rude, not a little. And secondly, that is literally the mandate of the greatest hosts in America. Rush Limbaugh, Howard Stern. Shall I continue? Rudeness is the prerequisite to quality hosting.
So those are radio hosts. You keep saying listeners. The people who are watching the show.
You can't be rude as a YouTube host. A radio host can be rude.
It's a different mentality when the camera's on you than when the camera's not. It's a different type of show.
You know what? Honestly, dude, I am fully canceling my membership to Alex Jones' How to Be on Camera as a Not Rude Host. Sorry, Alex. Not coming to the class tomorrow. Dude, I'm not rude. I'm just me. Just me. A narcissistic, selfish, old, decrepit man. Anyway, rude. And I interrupt our guests all the time, eh? Do you notice that?
I'm well aware.
Terrible. Terrible.
Yes.
I mean, I'd fire me if I could. Wait, I could. Shit.
Worst host ever.
Ever. Art, you do a lot of shows. I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm bottom 2 host you've ever worked with, right?
No comment.
Oh, well, it was nice seeing you last week.
No, Perez, it was great to see you, man. Really happy to see you. It's always a pleasure. To see the WagerTalk.com thing up there in the Super Contest standings, awesome, because I figure, hey, I know a bunch of these people, and I was happy to hear how you did in the poker rooms.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. As you know by now, Teddy and I made a big screw up. And it's not like you called to bail us out or anything. Kid, don't even respond. Don't even respond.
So,
okay, I won't.
I want to ask you, Art. So, look, I've been doing this 25 years, and I've never missed a deadline like that before. I don't know. I didn't even think. It wasn't even like all day. I'm like, did I miss something? Did I miss something? It was nothing, and it's obviously the busy time of year. In October, it gets a little bit crazy. But I can't, like, in 25 years, that never happened to me before. Have you? Is this pretty unique? Are there sharp guys that miss deadlines, or Prez and I just complete idiots?
No, people miss deadlines. I mean, and deadlines are there for a reason. It's because we have to get things moving and we have to get picks in, and I've seen it on both ends. I've worked with people who are like, "Oh man, I missed my Survivor," and I'm like, "What?" Like, so it happens. I feel bad for you boys, and it's horrible, but like you said, it's in 25 years, it's happened once, I guess. For it to only happen once in 20, 25 years is pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but it
just
makes
for
me
the
feel
record,
old.
Art, just for the record, Teddy and I are both idiots because I forgot to remind him. So
You're the reminder in the phone, Prez.
I'm
You said
the
once you said
reminder, Art.
your phone reminder. Let's not go there.
Art. Hey, Teddy, remember to wipe your ass after you shit so that I don't get blamed for your crappy underwear. Get some information out of Art, please.
Art. Let's start real quick with the NBA because I've got the NBA screen, the WagerTalk Live Odds NBA screen up right now. Well, in terms of NBA action to start the season, just like NHL, is the public get involved early? Does it take a little while for things to get going? Is it all wise guy action tonight? And with that, Dave Sherapan came out yesterday and he said the way we used to look at booking NBA is just break even till Christmas. Do you guys have that same thought process? You're worried about the wise guys early on in the season.
Definitely in the NBA, there's a lot of that feel. But last night there was only 2 games, and you weren't really competing with much. So two good games in the sense like they're popular teams, public teams. So we took pretty good action on the games last night. Obviously tonight you'll get the fuller slate. You'll be competing with a college football game, 2 playoff baseball games, and a shorter hockey slate. So the NBA is definitely early on very sharp. If you just look at tonight, it's been good Nick money that's come in, that's moved a couple of points at Memphis. I think I know you guys were just talking to Steve, maybe Memphis overachieved a little bit last year. They'll take a step back. I don't know. There's a lot of popular buzz around the Knicks. And, I mean, the Knicks are a New York team, so always get a little bit of love. Obviously, Jalen Brunson into the mix now. So, Knicks were getting as high as 6 with us. Now they're getting 4, so 2-point move there. And then Nuggets Jazz, that total, a lot of movement there. A lot of over money's come in. It's as low as 218.5, 225.5 now. So good over money has come in on that game. But usually the early stuff we see is a lot of totals that get bet by the wise guys. Not saying they don't jump on sides. We see a lot of total movement early on with the wise guys in the NBA.
Sure, and that early season NBA, if most of the time we're like, don't follow, don't follow the steam. You follow the steam, you get screwed. Follow the steam with early season NBA totals for the first couple of weeks, you'll do all right. That's one scenario where you're not going to get screwed. Even if you don't necessarily get the very best of the number. Let's talk a little MLB playoff baseball. 4 teams left, 2 expected to be here, 2 relative surprises. What are you seeing in terms of the future book action for the 4 teams still standing? Anything worth talking about the 2 games for today in terms of pros versus Joes? What's the Westgate position on today's playoff baseball?
Yeah, just looking at the 2 games, Yankee money came in early, and that's to be expected. When the Yankees get plus money, they're going to take money. There's not a lot of times where they do get plus money. Houston is always going to be the exception because Houston has owned them. This is a Yankee fan saying that. It is just the truth. We opened Houston as high as minus 186. Now have Houston minus 170. And then, Padre-Philly game, that's going to take a back seat to obviously the AL series. Obviously, they've already played 1 game. We had San Diego as high as minus 118. It's now 114. It's kind of just market moves really there. It's kind of been split action early. And then as far as the future stuff goes, after San Diego lost last night, we moved San Diego to 5-1 to win the World Series when they were like, 350, 375. So they moved a little bit down the board. And there were a couple people who came in and said, all right, they lost 1 game. They'll be able to rebound. We'll take the 5-1. So we saw some Padre money come in despite them losing the first game of the NLCS.
So the Superbook might be a place you want to look at if you're looking to bet the Padres to win it all. That I'm not going to call it an outlier number, but maybe the best number out there for San Diego to take home the prize. Let's shift our focus to college football before we get into NFL. I know Prez has a bunch of NFL questions he wants to ask you, so I'm going to leave him on the sidelines for a few minutes longer while we can and talk a little college football this week. What are we looking at in terms of the early week line movers? Who do the pros seem to like in college football? Who do the Joes seem to like in college football, whether we're talking weeknight or college football Saturday action at the Westgate Superbook?
Yeah, absolutely. An interesting game. Ole Miss goes to LSU. Line completely flipped. LSU was catching 1.5. They're now giving 1.5. So early LSU money has come in. An interesting total that has been all sharp money. Kansas State at TCU was 58.5, now 55.5. So you've seen a 3-point move there. We've talked about these totals in college football a lot this year, how the under money has come in, or over money, it will move 3 or 4 points. It just does. BYU Liberty is an interesting one. The Liberty quarterback is a real question mark, and I actually don't think he's going to play. So we took early money on BYU at 3.5. We're now sitting at 6.5, and it could even move further. So, sometimes these quarterback issues late in the season, they really can move a number. Who knows what's happening with the backups? And then once again, I always got to throw a Maction sharp move in there. Bowling Green goes to Central Michigan. Sharp money came in on Bowling Green +7. It's now 6. So sharp money on Bowling Green.
So, Art, every week you come on and promo the Thursday night reduced juice over at the Superbook. And that's something, again, it doesn't seem like a lot to a casual bettor. Oh, I'm only laying -105 instead of -110. But if you do that every week over the course of a season, it makes a huge difference on your bottom line. Talk about that Thursday -105 special that the Superbook has. That's something that like the pros take advantage of. It doesn't seem like the Joes take advantage of it the way they should. So talk about that for a minute. And how much action are you getting on that? Is it busy every Thursday night?
I totally agree, Teddy. Over the course of a football season, you could really save yourself some money. I mean, you just can. And I'm with you. This ends up being more of the pro in-tune bettors take advantage of that. Sometimes the public isn't even here on Thursday yet, Maybe they fly in Friday morning or, whatever the case may be. So they kind of miss out on that. But even if you're a recreational bettor who lives in Nevada, you live in Vegas, come down, take advantage. I mean, it's the only way to do it. And yeah, I mean, it sees action. It doesn't see as much action as we would like. We would like people to come down and, take more advantage of it. I mean, that's why we put it out there for people, like most places, always trying to, bring people in with, promos or, whatever the case may be. And that is about as good of a promo as it gets on a Thursday, the reduced juice at 105. And once again, that's NFL and college, and that's sides and totals. So we don't just limit you to, all right, it's only NFL sides or it's only college totals or whatever. We give you the full range in both major footballs.
Art DiCesare joining us, everyone. Guys, we have a TikTok channel. It's called WagerTalk. You got to check it out. And Art, the reason I bring this up is, I'm addicted to TikTok. I got a TikTok issue. Flat out. I admit it. I'm going to seek help. There are a lot of guys on TikTok that are sitting on thrones on the Monday night game, and if it wins, their 14-team parlay makes them $3 million. And of course, on Tuesday, you wake up and it wins, and now they're $300 rich, $3 million richer. They even show it on their phone, the bet that they made. Art, for our listeners out there, these people betting these parlays, this is made up garbage, right? I mean, it's like every week, every Monday night, they have one leg left in a 12-teamer to win $3 million. Are you seeing this in the Westgate? Are people regularly hitting $3 million parlays?
Wait, Prez, you're saying people are lying on the internet? There are
Wait, on
people who are
TikTok?
like, wait, people are lying on the internet? I'm going to be honest with you, I'm shocked. I can't believe it. That's crazy. To answer your question, absolutely not. If people were hitting $3 million parlays every week, I wouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be coming on and speaking to you guys every Wednesday. I'd be working at McDonald's. I'd be doing something else. I mean, that just, no, that's not a real thing. We also don't take 14-team parlays, so we don't even, give you that many. We give you 12, but yeah, that's not a reality of what's going on at the Westgate.
All right, I'm asking for a friend. Is there any way the Raiders are going to come down to 6.5? This is for a friend. Just for a friend.
For a friend named Prez?
Yeah, a friend named Prez.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I don't see why it's not possible. Of course it can happen.
Can you just give all our listeners 6.5? I'll put me down for 3 million.
How about we'll do it for you for 5 minutes. We'll put it on TikTok and then we'll move the line back.
Okay. I need a
Let me
6.5. Go ahead, Teddy.
Just real quick, Art. So I mean, I'm not seeing any sign from any book that anybody's moving to 6.5.
No.
Are you just trying to placate Prez here, or is
Yes.
there a chance this line's going to move?
No, I like to humor Prez.
So again, for a friend, is there any chance Detroit might get to 7.5? It's for a friend.
No.
Art, what are you seeing? What are you seeing for the NFL card this week? Any big bets you're taking in?
Yeah, sure. Early, you got to talk about tomorrow's game because they are playing NFL football tomorrow. A lot of public money's coming on the Cardinals. We took a really big bet last night on them, and it was public. It was a public player. But, Cardinals at home usually favors the home team on Thursday. They get Hopkins back. So I think that's got a lot to do with it. Saints haven't looked that great. Early on, as far as sharp cult money, we're now sitting at 3-point favorite at home against division rival, the Titans. So we have gotten to 3 with the Colts. The Jets have taken all sorts of money. Sharp money we took at 3. Yeah.
Let me just jump in there. You have sharp money with the Colts or with the Titans? I'm seeing the Titans as the favorites in that ball game. Is that the money's coming on Tennessee or the money's coming on Indy?
No, that's my bad. You're right, Teddy. I misspoke. You always get me, Teddy.
Sure.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
We're all in my world, Art.
We all make mistakes all the time.
Yeah, no, definitely. I appreciate you.
Is that we appreciate you. And the other most important thing is when we make mistakes,
yes.
We don't freaking blow us out of $1 million prize in the super. Sorry,
no. You're right. My bad. But sticking with the Jets. Jets money has come in. It's now pick 'em at the Broncos. I mean, Jets have been popular. Jets have been good to bettors. So no surprise there that the Jets have taken money. Some sharp money early on the Ravens. There's not that it's a terrible amount of movement, maybe half a point at home against the Browns, another division rival game, but people don't like what they've seen with the Browns. And bettors are still going to bet the Ravens, despite the Ravens not really looking that great so far this year. And then the one total that you want to touch on is under money has come in on Seattle at the Chargers. It was 52.5, now 51. So good under money's come in there.
Art DiCesare, everyone. Guys, we need 8 likes, and we need it in the next 30 seconds if you want a daily presidential address. Art, what do you have to promote?
As always, the 105 again, I know Teddy and I touched on it, but come down to the Westgate, get involved in that 105 Thursdays. That's both sides and totals in the NFL and college. We still have a really good promo on our app going. First-time users on the app, you sign up, you bet 100, get 100. So it's basically a free $100 roll. And, as always, guys, if you need help with anything, you come down to the Westgate, you ask for Arthur DiCesare, I'll get you set up. Drink tickets, seats, sheets, the 105 sheets, the app, anything you need, you come down, you ask for me. I'll get you set up with whatever you need for your NFL viewing and betting experience.
At ArtDice21, a great follow on Twitter. And Art, I just want to make a comment about the Westgate. I stayed at the Westgate last week, and I want to point out a few things. Firstly, the mattress was exceptional. Secondly,
Teddy.
and this should be the slogan
I
of
want
the
to point out a
Westgate.
few things.
Here, you ready for the Westgate slogan?
I'm listening.
Come to the Westgate. There's no coffee line.
That's a good one.
Dude, it's a freaking game changer. You go on the strip and you wake up and you want a Starbucks or whatever. You are waiting an hour.
No doubt about
At
it.
the Westgate, you go down, someone stands outside the elevator with your coffee already waiting for you. They don't, but there's no lineup for coffee. Was the greatest thing in the world. Anyway, thanks for coming on, my friend. We're over 100 likes. Dan, cue it up. All right, it's the daily presidential address. I got 2 bets to give out to you guys today, but I first want to make mention I've started the NHL season 6-2. I have a hockey play for my clients tonight. I also have 3 baseball plays again tonight, so I have a pretty big card. My NBA will wait a few more days, but I have 4 bets up at WagerTalk.com. As for 2 bets that I am making tonight, I am taking the Winnipeg Jets plus 1.5 goals at minus 130. I think they're going to play Colorado tough tonight. And I like the St. Louis Blues in regulation at minus 130 as well. Real quick daily presidential address. I'm doing the NFL presidential address in a few minutes. So with that, I hand the show back to Teddy. Take us home, my brother.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Wednesday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games, and good luck with your bets.
The NBA regular season tips off on Tuesday, October 18th, and who better to bet alongside than Rob Vino and Akeem Profit. Rob Vino enters the season ranked number 1 all-time in NBA profit at WagerTalk. On the flip side, Akeem Profit is looking to replicate last season after he finished up the year picking up over 44 units in profit for his NBA clients. And right now you can get the first 7 days of the NBA season for less than $5 per day per handicapper. For a limited time, you can get the first full week of NBA from both Rob Vino and Akeem Profit for the cost of just buying one of them. You heard right. For $69, you will get any NBA releases, including 5% best bets from Vino and Ski, from Tuesday, October 18th to Monday, October 24th, 2022. As an added bonus, the first 25 to sign up will get an additional 2 days added to their NBA access, a $100 value for free, taking you through October 26th.